Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because honestly, we are stepping into one of the most chaotic, high stakes, and just downright fascinating times in all of professional sports. We're talking, of course, about the massive anticipation surrounding the 2026 Major League Baseball trade deadline. If you've been following the newswire at all, you know the rumors are flying, front offices are working insane overtime, and fans are literally refreshing their feeds every single minute. But today, we aren't just going to chase those rumors. No, we are lifting the hood.
It's a question every fan thinks about, right? But very few truly understand it. What really happens when that deadline clock is ticking down to zero? How do general managers actually operate when the pressure is immense, the asking prices are sky high, and just one single phone call can alter the entire future of a franchise? Well, today, we're going to peel back the curtain and show you exactly what goes into forging a championship roster under the ultimate time crunch. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the approaching deadline, decode the MLB rules, get into the Tarek Skubal sweepstakes, map out the contenders' needs, and finally, wrap up with postseason eligibility. Let's master the mechanics.
Section 1. The deadline approaches. The ticking clock.
The absolute cutoff is August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. But, what makes this year so uniquely explosive is the math. Right now, there are 21 clubs jockeying for position. Just think about that for a second. Only 9 teams in the entire league are more than 3 games out of a playoff spot. That means we have this massive bubble of teams who are just agonizing over whether they should be buyers, sellers, or somehow try to thread the needle and do a little bit of both. The sheer volume of teams still in the hunt makes this August 3rd deadline an absolute powder keg. Section 2. Decoding MLB transaction rules. The general manager's playbook. Okay, before we get into the blockbuster names, we gotta hit the brakes on the hype for just a moment to understand the chess pieces. It all starts right here. You hear these terms thrown around a lot, but the distinction is literally everything. The 26-man active roster, those are the guys who are actually sitting in the dugout, eligible to play in tonight's game, period. The 40-man reserve list, though, is a much wider net. It includes those 26 active players, plus up to 14 additional guys who might be on the injured list, maybe on a short paternity leave, or developing down in the minor league farm system waiting for their big break. So when a GM makes a trade, they aren't just swapping players. They're meticulously managing spots on both of these lists at the exact same time.
So what happens when a team needs a roster spot immediately? They use a tool called Designated for Assignment, or DFA. When a player is DFA'd, they are immediately pulled off that 40-man reserve list, which instantly frees up a spot for a new acquisition. But it starts a ticking clock. The team has exactly 7 days to figure out what to do with that player. They can trade them, release them entirely, or put them on waivers to try and outright them to the minor leagues.
And that brings us perfectly to waivers. You can kind of think of this as a secret 3-day claim period kept strictly within the personnel of MLB clubs. It's almost like corporate espionage for baseball. If a player is placed on waivers, any other team can claim him. But here is the catch. If multiple teams put in a claim, priority always goes to the team with the worst record in the players' league. If no one claims him after 3 business days, he clears waivers and can then be sent to the minors or just released.
Which builds right into our next tool, minor league options. When you hear a player was optioned, it simply means they were sent to the minors without having to clear those waivers we just talked about. But options are a finite tool. A player only gets 3 option years in total. And actually, within a single season, they can only be sent down a maximum of 5 times. The whole point of this system is to prevent players from being buried in the minor leagues forever. Eventually, a team has to make a call, either bring him up permanently or expose him to waivers so another club can give him a real shot.
And then we have the ultimate veteran privilege, the 10-5 rule. If a player has been on an active major league roster for 10 full seasons and has spent the last 5 consecutive seasons with their current team, they hold the ultimate trump card. They literally cannot be traded to another team without their explicit consent. They can completely block a blockbuster deadline deal if they just don't want to pack up and move. It is a massive point of leverage for a player who has really given their prime years to one city.
And this brilliantly illustrates how all of this theory actually translates into practice on deadline week. Take a look at this real-world move that just came across the wire. The New York Mets traded left-handed relief pitcher A.J. Minter to the Minnesota Twins in exchange for 2 prospects, infielder Billy Emick and infielder Bruin Agbayoni. The Twins get immediate bullpen help for their 26-man roster right now, while the Mets get to stock their farm system with young prospects who don't necessarily need immediate 40-man roster protection. It's a classic buyer meets seller transaction.
Section 3. The Tarek Skubal Sweepstakes, the crown jewel.
Offers should start flowing in any moment. That's straight from MLB.com's Mark Feinsand. And why is he saying that? Well, because the Detroit Tigers just suffered a pretty heartbreaking loss, dropping them 4.5 games out of a playoff spot. That deficit has likely tipped them completely into the seller category, making their back-to-back Cy Young winner, Tarek Skubal, the ultimate trade chip. I mean, getting a generational starting pitcher at the deadline is exactly the kind of move that wins World Series rings. And believe me, every contender knows it.
So who actually has the ammunition to go out and get Skubal? It's an absolute arms race of prospect capital right now. Take the Dodgers. They are armed to the teeth with 9 of the top 100 prospects in baseball. 9. Pairing Skubal with their rotation is a terrifying thought for the rest of the league. Then you have the Brewers, sitting on 6 top 100 prospects, including the #1 overall prospect, Hezy Made. The Rays are definitely hesitating to deal their top guy, Theo Gillen, while the Cubs, Braves, Yankees, and Phillies hover in the background. Seriously, this bidding war is going to be historic.
Section 4. Contenders' biggest roster needs, the market matrix.
Now, what's really interesting to think about here is that if a team misses out on Skubal, they still have glaring holes they have to fill. It's fascinating how specific these needs are for teams that are already incredibly talented. Take the New York Yankees, for example. They have massive star power, but their absolute biggest need right now is production behind the plate at catcher. A rental target like Tyler Stevenson from the Reds fits that to a T. Down in Atlanta, the Braves had a great rotation early on, but injuries and regression mean they desperately need a starter. Someone like Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays could really anchor them for October. And over in Philly, the Phillies have elite pitching, but their outfield production has been surprisingly weak. A right-handed bat like Joe Adell could be exactly what they need to balance their lineup. Literally every contender has an Achilles heel they're frantically trying to protect.
Section 5. Postseason push and eligibility. Beyond the deadline. Ultimately, making a huge, splashy trade in August means absolutely nothing if that player can't actually step onto the diamond in October. So the most crucial point is understanding the final cutoff. The August 3rd trade deadline is really just the first hurdle. To actually be eligible to play in the postseason, a player must be in the organization, specifically on the 40-man reserve list, the injured list, or the restricted list, by midnight Eastern Time on August 31st. If a team acquires a player on September 1st, hey, they might help you win a few regular season games down the stretch, but they are going to be watching the playoffs from the couch. General managers aren't just building for August. They're building a massive 40-man puzzle that has to lock into place on August 31st. And that brings us to the ultimate question. You now understand the roster rules, the waiver wire secrets, the immense prospect capital required, and those hard cutoff dates. So, with that August 31st playoff cutoff looming in the distance and the trade deadline clock rapidly ticking down today, which last-minute move, which sudden waiver claim, or which massive blockbuster trade will be the one that forges the 2026 World Series champion? Keep your eyes glued to the wire, because with this new understanding of how front offices actually operate, watching the deadline unfold is going to be more exciting than ever. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the madness.